Tonight on Texas News Primetime. UT has dissolved the new Student Services Office. More on how this affects staff and the programs the office housed.
Voting in campus-wide elections kicked off this morning. We'll bring you more on how to cast your ballot.
TEDxUTAustin held its annual conference this past weekend. We'll bring details from the event.
A lunar lander made by an Austin-based company successfully landed on the moon yesterday. More about Blue Ghost 1 and its mission.
South by Southwest starts this Friday here in Austin. What you can expect from the festival. This is Texas News Primetime.
News made for Longhorns.
Good evening. For Monday, March 3rd, I'm Aneesh Tiwari.
And I'm Nicole Vargas. Thank you for joining us tonight.
UT's new Student Services Office has been dissolved. TSDV News confirmed last week. While the office within the Division of Student Affairs no longer exists, all programs will continue and will be housed in other campus offices and divisions. New Student Services provided resources to assist students in their transition to college. The office previously housed programs such as New Student Orientation, Longhorn Welcome, and more. 2 staff positions were also dissolved in the change. Earlier today, the College of Natural Sciences named Andreas Matashek as the school's new interim dean. A professor of molecular biosciences, Matashek was the College of Natural Sciences Associate Dean for Research and Facilities, where he has served since 2020. This comes after former Dean David Vandenbout was named Interim Executive Vice President and Provost in February. As Associate Dean, Matashek oversaw collaborative research efforts across 12 academic departments, as well as leading the college in creating initiatives designed to help students, such as the CNS Wellness Center and the collaborative learning spaces in Welch Hall. Voting in the campus-wide elections opened this morning and runs until tomorrow at 5 p.m. Positions up for election include the student body president and vice president, student government assembly representatives, positions within the university unions, and more. Students can cast their ballots and read candidate statements online at the Dean of Students website. For more from the student body presidential candidates, tune in to Tower Talks tonight at 10 p.m. With elections for the next executive alliance underway, TSDV News sat down with the current student body president and vice president to reflect on the last year. We talked to them about what they were able to accomplish during their time in office, including the development of mental health modules. These modules will be similar to the alcohol education and sexual assault modules students complete in Canvas their first year.
It's college, so there's a lot of people have mental health struggles going on, even if they don't talk about it. And so we wanted to have mental health modules implemented into that at the beginning of the year, and then also you're able to go back and look at resources that are there for you that are UT specific.
The modules will roll out across the UT system in the fall. For more from our sit-down with Grace and Elle, tune in to Tower Talks at 10 p.m. or check out the full interview online later tonight.
A museum across the street from campus received national recognition. The Bullocks Texas State History Museum was named the 10th Best History Museum by USA Today as part of their Reader's Choice Awards. Nominees for the awards are submitted by a panel of experts and voted on by the public. The museum includes 3 floors of exhibitions, including the Texas History Gallery, which covers 16,000 years of state history. TEDxUTAustin held their 8th annual conference this past weekend. TSDV News was at the event. Take a look.
The sounds of music and presentations echoed throughout the Hogg Memorial Auditorium during TEDxUTAustin's 8th annual conference.
The entire purpose is just to bring the TEDx mission right here to Austin, because TED is a broader, more international organization, and their entire catchphrase of ideas worth spreading, it can be very communal. It can be to your
Students and community members who attended the event were able to experience various exhibitions, performances, and presentations revolving around this year's theme, What Now? The talks explore different topics ranging from creativity to health.
Here is the newly found understudied science fact.
Students Sanjana Razake and Alicia Saeed spoke on their impressions from the TED Talk speakers.
Honestly, the ending of that was beautiful, where she made us, go out into the real world and try to get more creative.
I really like the menstrual blood one. It was very eye-catching, memorable.
The event also showcased various organizations and startups, some of which are student-led. one student is developing a safety device embedded in jewelry.
I really want to put my foot in the door as far as marketing goes, since it is an early stage part of my journey right now. I really do want to get the voice out that I will be completing this by May 2026 or so.
The event finished off with an art gallery with live music open to the community. Angela Santos, TSTV News.
A press release from Austin Public Health has confirmed the first case of measles in the city since 2019. The individual affected, who was an infant who recently traveled overseas with family. Both the infant and their family are unvaccinated and are remaining at home in isolation. The Texas outbreak has led to 1 death and the hospitalization of around 20 people so far. Public officials are emphasizing the need for residents to take extra safety precautions, such as getting vaccinated in order to slow the spread of the highly transmissible disease.
A nationwide blackout took place last Friday in protest of recent DEI rollbacks from the Trump administration. The People's Union and activist group spearheaded the movement for weeks, urging consumers to avoid making purchases at big businesses. The blackout, however, only showcased a 3% drop in sales, and by the end of the 24-hour period, Amazon was up 1% higher than its average in the last 8 days. Although the one-day blackout appeared to be limited, the organizers are planning additional boycotts throughout March and April, aimed at Nestle and Walmart. President Donald Trump recently signed an executive order making English the official language of the United States. The order allows government agencies to choose whether they wish to continue to offer documents and services in languages other than English. The order rescinds a previous one from former President Bill Clinton that required the government to provide language assistance to non-English speakers. The White House states that the executive order is to, quote, foster national cohesion and help newcomers engage in communities and traditions, end quote.
The Senate recently passed a bill banning online and third-party lottery ticket sales. The primary target of the bill is couriers which buy tickets at stores for customers. Multiple lawmakers have accused the Texas Lottery Commission of illegally engaging in sales of tickets to minors and out-of-state customers. Senate Bill 28 aims to end these illegal sales and restore integrity to the lottery. Attorney General Ken Paxton has also begun an investigation, and Governor Greg Abbott has enlisted in the help of the Texas Rangers. The bill has not yet made it to the committee, but it may make its way there in the future. Hundreds watched from an Earthside landing party as Firefly Aerospace, a company based in Cedar Park, successfully landed Blue Ghost 1 on the moon yesterday after 45 days of travel. The lunar lander made the trip to Earth's satellite as part of NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services program. Blue Ghost 1 will participate in several experiments and will capture some of the first images of the lunar sunset, a phenomenon that has only been observed once before, during the Apollo era. Firefly Aerospace is scheduled to send 2 more landers to the moon as a part of the NASA initiative. The next one will launch in 2026. Texas A&M has banned drag shows across all 11 university campuses. The Board of Regents passed the resolution Friday. They say drag shows are inconsistent with the system's values as they, quote, are likely to create a hostile environment for women, end quote. Texas A&M College Station's annual drag show, Draggieland, was set to take place later this month. Now, the Queer Empowerment Council will have to find a different space for the event off campus. When we come back, the Texas Union Festival took place last week. We'll bring you highlights from the event. And Austin is under a red flag warning tomorrow. More on what this means next. Primetime will be right back.
Thirteen of the 48 club sports offered by the university now require students to submit proof of sex assigned at birth.
I know deep down they would probably want to stay with the university.
No way in hell anybody's going to tell my daughters what to do with their bodies.
This state is one of the worst in child education.
We can't take it anymore seeing those scenes.
Going to Hillel on Friday night, all my family members kept texting me not to go.
There's a huge housing crisis in Austin. Do you have a plan in place to address this issue? Determined to start your day well? We're up bright and early. From the enriching local stories to the weather forecast later in the day. Rain or shine, at Good Morning Longhorns, we got you covered. Comprised of a studious reporting staff going lengths to get that scoop, and a talented technical team to enhance your screen visually. As a fellow Longhorn, your mornings are better with us. So start your day the Vivo way. Good Morning Longhorns, Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Central Time on TSTV.
Welcome back to Primetime. Campus Events and Entertainment hosted the 16th Annual Texas Union Festival last week. TSTV attended the event and spoke with filmmakers about their work. Here are some of the highlights.
The 16th Annual Texas Union Film Festival took place on Thursday, February 27th, displaying the creative work of student filmmakers. The event was hosted by Campus Events and Entertainment, a student-led organization at UT. E&E member Journey Crawford has more on what the organization does for the community.
Basically, we put on events for the campus. We have a couple, we have 10 different committees. This one's Showtime. We show movies here. We're putting on the film festival.
Students, filmmakers, and their families attended dressed in black and white formal attire. This event showcased 10 finalists' films ranging in genre anywhere from animated shorts to mini documentaries. Each student's work was judged, and prizes for first, second, and third place included a South by Southwest Film Badge, an Austin Film Festival Producers Badge, and a Fantastic Fest Fan Badge. TSTV spoke with a few winners about their inspiration and passion for the art.
At the end of the day, it's really cool to come out and support young directors and even the people putting on the event. That's an insane amount of work to organize all of that.
I think what got me into filmmaking was wanting to tell stories that kind of highlight the Latinx community and just marginalized people in general, because I think that's especially being a person of color, seeing my experiences and other minorities represented on screen is super validating and awesome to see.
The annual film festival will remain a tradition in the future, celebrating the hard work and dedication of student filmmakers. This is Emmy Adams, TSTV News.
UT Austin's athletic director Chris Del Conte received the Austinite of the Year award on Thursday. The annual award, which is given by the Austin Chamber of Commerce, is dedicated to Austinites who make the city a better place in various aspects. Del Conte was named as the honoree last year but received the physical award at the formal presentation, which took place at the Chamber's annual meeting. His contributions to the city include the construction of the Moody Center, renovation of Darrell K. Royal Stadium, and various sports training facilities.
On Sunday, the Sigma Epsilon chapter of the Kappa Delta sorority here at UT held their annual Shamrock 5K run. Kappa Delta was raising money for Prevent Child Abuse America, or PCAA, as well as the Austin Center for Child Protection. Sorority members ran around the Texas Capitol grounds with each other, their family members, and members of the UT Austin community. This year saw the largest turnout for the run, with 658 participants. That is up from 385 at last year's event. The run has been an annual tradition since 2018.
I feel like it's important to do events like this because if you look around, there's thousands of people here from all over the university, all over Austin, and family and friends came too. So I think it's important to do stuff like this because it makes people aware of organizations like PCAA and brings all the KDs and our family and friends together.
Besides raising funds, the organizers also wanted to raise awareness for PCAA and its mission and services. Representatives from PCAA spoke to runners and handed out memorabilia after the race. And when we come back, your look at weather for the first week of March. And Texas women's basketball is crowned co-SEC regular season champions. Primetime will be right back.
13 of the 48 club sports offered by the university now require students to submit proof of sex assigned at birth.
I know deep down they would probably want to stay with the university.
No way in hell anybody's going to tell my daughters what to do with their bodies.
This state is one of the worst in child education.
We can't take it anymore seeing those scenes.
Going to Hillel on Friday night, all my family members kept texting me not to go.
There's a huge housing crisis in Austin. Do you have a plan in place to address this issue? Determined to start your day well? We're up bright and early. From the enriching local stories to the weather forecast later in the day. Rain or shine, at Good Morning Longhorns, we got you covered. Comprised of a studious reporting staff going lengths to get that scoop, and a talented technical team to enhance your screen visually. As a fellow Longhorn, your mornings are better with us. So start your day the Vivo way. Good Morning Longhorns, Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Central Time on TSTV.
Welcome back to Primetime.
Austin is facing an increased wildfire threat tomorrow. McKenna Valentine is here with all you need to know in this week's weather. How are you doing today, McKenna?
I'm doing really well. I'm glad it's finally getting warm, but I'm not a huge fan of this wind. Coming into this first full week of March, we're seeing warmer temperatures with chances of rain. Tomorrow, South Central Texas is under a red flag warning and a wind advisory. This means Austin and other parts of the region are at increased risk of fire danger. Despite this, we're seeing a 24% chance of rain tomorrow with a high of 77 and a low of 49. Wednesday, enjoy the sunshine and moderate temperatures with a high of 72 and a low of 43. On Thursday, we're seeing back up to 77 with a low of 60 and a few clouds. On Friday, we'll finally reach the 80s again with a high of 84 and a low of 59. Heading into the weekend, be prepared for some rain showers on Saturday with a 16% chance and cooler temperatures between 44 and 63 degrees. Sunday's about the same, between 43 to 69 degrees with a 1% chance of rain. Finally, wrapping up the week, on Monday we can expect a sunny high of 76 and a low of 51 degrees. Back to you, Nicole.
Thanks, McKenna, for keeping us up to date on Austin weather. When we come back, Texas baseball had a successful weekend in Las Vegas. We'll talk all things sports next. And we'll talk about the big winners from last night's Oscars. Primetime will be right back.
Thirteen of the 48 club sports offered by the university now require students to submit proof of sex assigned at birth.
I know deep down they would probably want to stay with the university.
No way in hell anybody's going to tell my daughters what to do with their bodies.
This state is one of the worst in child education.
We can't take it anymore seeing those scenes.
Going to Hillel on Friday night, all my family members kept texting me not to go.
There's a huge housing crisis in Austin. Do you have a plan in place to address this issue? Determined to start your day well? We're up bright and early. From the enriching local stories to the weather forecast later in the day. Rain or shine, at Good Morning Longhorns, we got you covered. Comprised of a studious reporting staff going lengths to get that scoop, and a talented technical team to enhance your screen visually. As a fellow Longhorn, your mornings are better with us. So start your day the Vivo way. Good Morning Longhorns, Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Central Time on TSTV.
Welcome back to Primetime.
Texas women's basketball is on a high going into the SEC tournament. Ryan Hopper has the latest for Press Box on Primetime. How are you doing today, Ryan?
I'm good. Great to be here as always.
Texas women's basketball is ranked #1 in the nation for the first time in 20 years and won 13 straight games. What is behind this team's hot streak, and do you see this momentum carrying into the postseason?
Well, the SEC is stacked in many sports, and women's basketball, frankly, is no different. Many of these wins have been against the nation's best teams. In just a week and a half, Texas faced Vanderbilt, Kentucky, South Carolina, and LSU, 4 ranked teams, and came out undefeated. South Carolina and LSU were legitimate national title contenders, so Texas has proved it can play with anybody. On Sunday, the Longhorns celebrated senior night with a dominant 72-46 win over Florida, honoring star players like point guard Rory Harmon. After recovering from a torn ACL last season, Harmon hasn't had to carry the offense as much as she once did. Last year, even without her, Texas made it to the Elite Eight thanks to Madison Booker, one of the nation's top scorers, and Taylor Jones, a force in the paint on both ends. With Harmon, Booker, Jones, plus key contributors like Kyla Oldacre and sharpshooter Shea Holley, Texas has the talent to make it to the Final Four. But in a single elimination tournament, anything can happen. In other news, despite being the nation's top-ranked teams, the Longhorns lost a coin toss, so they'll be the second seed in this week's SEC tournament. And personally, I don't think something this simple should determine something like that. It's unfair to these student athletes and coaches.
Keeping it on the hardwood, it has been a drastically different season for Texas men's basketball. After a season-saving stretch at the end of January where the team won 3 of 4, it has now lost 6 of its last 7 games. What is behind this slide, and what changes may be on the horizon?
You know, simply put, this program is in a free fall. When this many things are going wrong, there's never a single reason, but the buck has to stop with head coach Rodney Terry. Many insiders have reported that Terry will be let go if this team doesn't reach the NCAA tournament. And that, unfortunately for Texas fans, looks increasingly likely. Too often this team is not ready to play, and this Saturday night was no different. The Longhorns let Georgia get out to a 17-point lead in the first half and never recovered. Both teams came in this one in a must-win spot to fulfill their tournament aspirations, but the Bulldogs looked like the only team on the floor desperate for a win. Texas almost never runs offensive sets like most winning teams do. There's a lot of ISO ball and standing around. It honestly looks like a pickup game at times out there, and that the genuine plan is to get Trey Johnson off of screen action and let him go to work. Trey Johnson's a great talent and will be a high draft pick in the NBA draft, but it seems like Texas fans will be left scratching their heads wondering how good a team this good could have been this year with more competent coaching and more interior size. With the exception of super senior Arthur Kaluma, who's an undersized stretch 4, this team doesn't rebound well enough to make up for its lack of consistent scoring. Unless this team is a sudden change of fortunes, it appears the Rodney Terry era in Austin will end shortly.
Texas baseball has gotten off to a 9-1 start as first-year head coach Jim Schlossangle seems to have hit the ground running. How did the team look in this weekend series?
Well, the Longhorns were in Vegas this week. They'll be hoping the old saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, doesn't ring true for their bats. Texas put up 10 or more runs in all 3 of their wins against Washington, Texas Tech, and Illinois, respectively. And they did the damage with big innings on all 3 games. On Friday night, the Horns put up 7 runs on the Huskies in the 6th and had another monster 6 on Sunday, dropping 9 on Illinois after falling behind 6-1. But it was Saturday's win that was most satisfying as Texas beat old Big 12 rival Texas Tech. Leading up to the game, Texas Tech catcher Dylan Maxey said his team was going into the game with the mentality that if, quote, we don't run rule them, we lost. Clearly, this comment provided extra motivation for the Longhorns, who played at 7 runs in the 2nd inning and led 10-1 after 5 innings, so they could have run ruled Tech. Many of the lineup, including infielders Adrian Rodriguez, Ethan Mendoza, and Jalen Flores, took home all tournament honors, with the latter being named MVP. While many have justified concerns about Texas' bullpen, this team seems to be turning a corner at just the right time. After 5 more non-conference games, the Longhorns will visit Mississippi State from March 14th to 16th for their first ever SEC series.
Thanks, Ryan, for keeping us up to date on all things sports. When we come back, all things Oscar winners next. And South by Southwest is here in Austin for the next 2 weeks. We'll talk about the big names attending.
"13 of the 48 club sports offered by the university now require students to submit proof of sex assigned at birth.
I know deep down they would probably want to stay with the university.
No way in hell anybody's going to tell my daughters what to do with their bodies.
This state is one of the worst in child education.
We can't take it anymore seeing those scenes.
Going to Hillel on Friday night, all my family members kept texting me not to go.
There's a huge housing crisis in Austin. Do you have a plan in place to address this issue? Determined to start your day well? We're up bright and early. From the enriching local stories to the weather forecast later in the day. Rain or shine, at Good Morning Longhorns, we got you covered. Comprised of a studious reporting staff going lengths to get that scoop, and a talented technical team to enhance your screen visually. As a fellow Longhorn, your mornings are better with us. So start your day the Vivo way. Good Morning Longhorns, Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Central Time on TSTV.
Welcome back to Primetime.
The 2025 Oscars aired live last night. Emmy Adams is here to talk about what you need to know in music, movies, and more. How are you doing today, Emmy?
I'm doing well, Nicole, thank you. The 2025 Oscars honored some of the best in cinema yesterday, with Conan O'Brien hosting the 97th Academy Awards. Anora took home Best Picture along with 4 other awards, including Best Director to Sean Baker and Best Actress to Mikey Madison. Speaking of the top acting awards, Aidan Brody took home Best Actor for The Brutalist. Best Supporting Actor went to Kieran Culkin's role in A Real Pain, and Best Supporting Actress went to Zoe Saldana in Emilia Perez. In fact, the hit film Emilia Perez led the night in 13 nominations and took home 2 awards.
Any award winners you were expecting, surprised by, disappointed by?
You know, I'm a really big theater fan, so I was rooting for Wicked, but overall it was still a great show to watch. This Friday marks the start of the annual global festival South by Southwest that takes place right here in downtown Austin until March 15th. The festival will include hundreds of panels, artist performances, and film premieres. Here's some highlights. Hookham House will return March 7th through 8th. Longhorn Pride will take over Antone's nightclub with a series of performances by UT students, the Longhorn Band, and multiple panels with guests like UT legend Colt McCoy. Many artists will hit the stage throughout the week, including performances from Benson Boone, Megan Maroney, Brittany Spencer, and John Summit. Regarding panels, South by Southwest announced last week that Ben Stiller, an Apple vice president, will sit down on March 9th and discuss the Apple TV Plus show, Severance, that has taken the industry by storm. Can't make the festival? No problem. Continue to stay updated through TSTV News socials to check out the latest South by South content from our reporters.
What are you looking forward to seeing from South by?
You know, I'm volunteering at South by for the first time, so I'm just really excited to experience that atmosphere.
Well, that's your Monday briefing. I'm Aneesh Tiwari.
And I'm Nicole Vargas. From all of us at TSTV News, thank you for watching.
Now go out and change your world.